Yo, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. We're going to go through some bets. So, we can start on a bunch of different platforms. I mean, I'm not really sure how today's going. We'll have to see. We got some good-looking plays out there, and then we got some bad-looking plays out there. So, always interesting to see how the profit shakes out. We really need, McCowan. This is really the big bet. We need her to go over 11.5 points. This was from the live stream yesterday. We got a little 4-pick parlay. But without further ado, what we can do is we can start going through some of the early picks for next week, right? So there's a lot of NFL games. There's a lot of good NFL games. So you can see here, if we just filter for the NFL on OddsJam, there's over 200 sports books. All this tool does, is point out value in the market. Is you can see there's not a ton of plays available right now with high profit margins. I mean, Romeo Doubs over 38.5 receiving yards. You can see you can get this at plus 110 on Bovada. Basically, every other sports book has this like minus 115-ish, minus 110. So maybe some good value on this play on Bovada, but not a ton of plays available on the main sports books. But we can check out college football as well. So if we had in college football, is there anything? Oregon over 23.5 first half team total. So this play seems pretty good. It's on Fliff. So what we can actually do is we can lock this in. I mean, we might as well make this the first bet. So Fliff, unfortunately, it doesn't have a web browser, kind of like PrizePicks, where I can just bet through a website. So what I have to do is we can go back here, and what we can do is just kind of like, let me pull up Fliff right here. So where is it? So there we go. So that should work. So if we pull up Fliff, I mean, maybe that works. It looks kind of stupid. Here's a play we have from today. But what I can do is just like, okay, like let's just log in, search for Oregon really quickly. Let's lock in this play, and then let's kind of call it a day. So obviously Oregon demolished Colorado. Probably the most screen time they're gonna get for a while, but you can see here like Pinnacle, odds have been ripping towards Oregon's over. Their over 23.5 first half team total has moved from minus 121 to, about like minus 137, minus 140. DraftKings has the line at minus 130. So like Fliff is the only book, and Pinnacle is known to be one of the sharper, more sophisticated, bookmakers. So we want to put more weight into their odds. So what we can do is just like, okay, like, you go to team props, we want to go to halves, and then we want to go to first half team score. And we want to go to, we want to go to away team. Oregon's on the road. And then we want to go to over 23.5. And again, what kind of sucks about Fliff, I mean, not really, but they only have a max bet size of 250. So we can just hit it for the max. And again, Fliff is a sports book. It's available in basically every location. So if you don't already use Fliff, there's a lot of good bets available. A lot of good lines available as well, but we can switch back shit, man. So you can see here, now it's like super logged into. So now I kind of got to zoom it out again. But then let's start looking for some plays on PrizePicks. But we got our first bet on Fliff, which seems like it has pretty clear value. So let's go here and, I'll have to make sure to check the chat to make sure this looks normal, but whatever. It seems good enough. So we can go back here. And we can go to the Fantasy Optimizer. So this betting tool, the Fantasy Optimizer, it's really used for, these platforms like PrizePicks and stuff. And again, what makes PrizePicks different from a traditional sports book is on these traditional sports books like DraftKings, right? There's a bunch of numbers. There's a bunch of odds, right? Like Hunter Green, over 4.5 strikeouts is minus 135. Whereas you look on, PrizePicks, there's no odds. It's just a bunch of lines, and PrizePicks has fixed payouts, right? Like any 2-pick parlay you create on PrizePicks, you're getting a 3x payout. Doesn't matter if you take, esports picks, whatever. Any 2 picks, you're getting a 3x payout. So these platforms work a bit differently. Is the Fantasy Optimizer good for Fliff? It's okay. But anyways, yeah, McCowan's playing horribly. Anyways, what we can do is we can go here and we can start out, maybe taking a look at the Fantasy Optimizer. So like this play, for example, again, soccer isn't a sport we talk about or we bet on a lot on these live streams. But if we take a look at this player, Jude Bellingham, I always say like, oh baby, she got 6. Our girl's rolling. So this really is the play we need. But if we go ahead here, right, is if you check out Jude Bellingham, his line is 3 on ParlayPlay. Good to know. Right, his line is 3 on Underdog Fantasy. PrizePicks has the line at 2.5. So it's kind of like keep it simple, stupid, right? You have these books. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? It's the same. It's like if you go to a store, or and something costs $2.50 on PrizePicks, and then it's $3 for the exact same item. Like this is the same bet. Bellingham to go over or under 3 shots. And you can see there's a completely different line. 2.5 on PrizePicks, 3 on Underdog Fantasy. So that kind of indicates to us like, hey, on PrizePicks, we probably want to take the over. Seems like they're a little too low. And then you can see FanDuel has this line at minus 300. So this play seems really good, right? Like you have the 2 other fantasy sites, ParlayPlay and Underdog, who are telling you, yo, this guy's line should be at 3. Then you have PrizePicks chilling at 2.5. And then you have FanDuel, who has this as a minus 300 favorite, right? Which is insane. Oh, fucking moly. Whoa. So check out this play. So we got to go back here. And what we can do is we can go here. So let me just go to, display capture. This should work better. So again, like you never know when the best bets are going to occur. So look at this, right? Like lines are ripping towards Houston. And you can see here, it's like, whoa, we have this crazy discrepancy that just popped up. And again, it just showed up because I just stumbled upon the positive EV tool. Houston plus 5.5 is plus 100, on Fliff. That's crazy, right? Pinnacle has this minus 130 favorite. So let's move quickly. I can almost guarantee you this line won't be available tomorrow. And we can go to first half. And then we want to go to first half point spread, right? And we want to take them plus 5.5 at plus 100 for 250. So hit that bad boy for the max. And then what are these other bets? Hit them plus 4.5 at plus 100. So obviously, even though both bets seem profitable, obviously you'd rather have plus 5.5 over plus 4.5. Let's say, 7-2, I don't know, there's a safety or something like that. Like, obviously getting plus 5.5 is better than 4.5. But I mean, this is crazy, right? Lines have just been ripping towards Houston, first half point spread. And again, I've explained this before, but lines can move for a lot of reasons. Like, a lot of people think odds are static. Like, oh, I'm on Houston first half spread. It's like, well, what odds did you get them? What price did you get them? What line? Plus 5.5? Plus 3.5? Plus 7.5? Like, all these things make a difference long term. It's kind of like if you're a day trader, it matters if you buy Facebook at $200 versus $300, right? So it's the same thing here in sports betting and lineups changing, like all these lineup changes in the MLB, these things move around odds consistently. So anyways, Houston plus 5.5 is a crazy good bet, but let's go back here and let's just, switch my screen back to Chrome and let's start looking for some bets on, PrizePicks that we can go with. So we have, Jude Bellingham. And again, this seems like kind of a random play. How's the Taco Tuesday doing? The last taco. Man, come on, Kelsey. So we need Kelsey Plum to go over. Obviously, pretty crappy limits. Michael King ends with 5. Anyways, let's go back here. And what we can do is we can go here. So this is interesting, right? George Pickens, this is their 100K challenge. It says it will change every day. 10 winners will be selected, essentially to get 100K. 10K total to 10 lucky winners. What a surprise. I didn't win this week, but hopefully I didn't win last week, but hopefully I win this week. So we can go through that on Underdog Fantasy here in a second. Anyways, but damn, wait, look at this tennis bet, right? Like, this is crazy, Again, like, you have to remember, like, this bet on Bovada, if you use Bovada, I mean, right, like, Pinnacle has ripped her. She used to be a plus 136 underdog, so a really big underdog, plus 136. Now she's all the way down to plus 106. Bovada is pretty stale. They're still pricing her at plus 120. The rest of the market has ripped her lines lower, right, to about, just a very small underdog. On Bovada, we're getting plus 120. So again, as sharp bettors, we treat all these books as a data point. So some good bets on FanDuel. FanDuel Soccer. On FanDuel, soccer is my most profitable sport. I can't use FanDuel right now just due to location. Depending on where you're located, you may have some of these sports books available, all these sports books available, whatever. But anyways, you can see there's a bunch of bets. This bet on Bovada looks great, right? Kalinina, plus 120, looks incredible, right? Look at her. Odds are just ripping towards her. And again, who knows? Sometimes it's weather changes, lineup changes in team sports, or maybe all of the action is coming in, just like the price of a stock goes up due to supply and demand. If all the sharp action, the sports betting syndicates, everyone starts hammering her, lines are going to move towards her, right? This is a market, just like the stock market. If there's more demand, the price goes up. If everyone keeps betting on her, lines are going to move towards her. But you can see plus 120 is crazy, and it's also an arbitrage play to FanDuel. But anyways, what we can do is we can go back to PrizePicks, and let's try to lock in some PrizePicks plays. So again, on PrizePicks, if you go through the math behind this platform, what you'll see is on PrizePicks, to be profitable, all you have to do to be profitable on PrizePicks is win these over-unders above 54.25% of the time, right? So in other words, if you can get these over-unders correctly, again, PrizePicks has fixed payouts, right? Like, everything on this sports book boils down to what percentage of your picks can you win, right? So if you look right here, it's like you're always getting a 3x payout. WNBA, tennis, whatever, 3x payout for 2-pick entries. So everything just boils down to how many picks are in your entry and what percentage of your picks can you win. And on PrizePicks, if you can win these over-unders, let's say 56% of the time, so you're winning plays like this, 56% of the time, your ROI is going to be 11.9%. You have a win rate of 56%, you're losing 44%. So, like, why is this play on Jude Bellingham so good? It's like, well, first of all, you have other sports books, right? Like Underdog Fantasy telling you no. PrizePicks is too low. Line shouldn't be at 2.5, it should be at 3. So obviously the over is the more likely outcome if all the other sports books are telling you the line should be at 3, right? And then you can see FanDuel has this at minus 300. So you got to remember, like, what does minus 300 mean? And what minus 300 means, like, what is the definition of minus 300? And granted, this includes the VIG, but whatever. Minus 300 means a 3-to-1 betting favorite. 3-to-1 betting favorite, 75% to win. 3-to-1 betting favorite, 75% to win. Minus 200 is a 2-to-1 betting favorite, 2/3 to win, 66% to win, right? So, like, minus 400, 4-to-1 betting favorite. But anyways, long story short, that seems like a pretty good play. Got a DoorDash Chick-fil-A here in a bit. I was going to work out, ended up deciding not to fucking work out because it's boring. But anyways, we can see right here, if we look at this next play, it's like there can be value in any sport. I feel like a lot of people, it's like, oh, like, I only bet on the NFL. It's like, well, good luck with that, right? If there's good plays in esports, you should be betting on esports. So, like, today we had PrizePicks Taco Tuesday where they discounted some MLB players by like a strikeout. I mean, I'm pretty sure like the taco didn't even fucking hit. So if we look right here, like Kevin Gaussman, this was the Taco Tuesday, didn't even hit, right? Like over 6.5 strikeouts, 6.5 to 7.5. You can literally like create your own Taco Tuesday by just scanning the market for value. So you can see on this fantasy optimizer, right? And then this is the sportsbook screen on OddsJam. It just kind of shows you, where do all books have their line set, yada, yada, yada. Is PrizePicks has the line at 33.5. Granted, you don't have a ton of other data points. It's not like there's a million sports books that post odds on esports, but Underdog Fantasy, a billion-dollar company with a pretty sophisticated model, right? They're setting the line at 36, right? Jock Market has the line at 36.5. So, seems pretty clear PrizePicks has their line too low on this player, so we want to take his over, right? And again, a lot of people will be like, oh, why can't I just create a better model than PrizePicks, than Underdog Fantasy? There's really two reasons. First of all, you got to remember PrizePicks is a billion-dollar company. They have a lot of resources, really good data feeds. You're not really going to outmodel PrizePicks because you give it a try, right? That's not how it works. This is a billion-dollar company with, really good data feeds, models, all that type of stuff, hundreds of employees working on their data feeds and models. Like, you can't just spin up a model that outsmarts the sports books. That's why it's funny when you see on Twitter, like all these people who are like, oh, I have this algorithm that just like predicts what's going to happen in nerfy bets. It's like, bro, no, you fucking don't. Like, that's bullshit. But the second thing is these books have access to flow, right? And by that, it means where is action coming in, right? So like, if everyone starts betting this guy's over on PrizePicks will move the line higher, right? Because they recognize that, hey, we have the line too low. Everyone's taking the over. There's no one taking the under. But anyways, let's go back here and let's try to find some other picks that we can go with. So we have two picks. This play I like as well. So like again, on PrizePicks, pretty simple. All you got to do to be profitable, again, I'm not saying we're going to win every day, whatever, but all you got to do to be profitable is win over 54.25% of your player props. So the next play OddsJam's recommending is Darnell Savage, under 6.5 tackles plus assists. So here's the first data point, ParlayPlay, who's saying no. Let's make sure this is sharing correctly. So it is sharing correctly. So you can see here, right, ParlayPlay is saying, yo, this guy's line should be lower at 6. So it's like, okay, like that makes us feel like the under 6.5 on PrizePicks, maybe, we found a discrepancy, whatever. But then if you look at DraftKings, if we go over to the NFL, and we'll take a look at college football here in a second. But if you take a look at, tackles plus assists, where is it? Here it is you can see DraftKings, they have his under pretty heavily favored, right? His under is minus 135. So the same way, if you look at like college football, right? It's like, okay, like, what's a good example? USC is favored versus Colorado. They're minus 1450 favorites. The sports books are telling you, yo, USC is more likely to win this. Damn, USC is the same level of favorite as Oregon. Pretty interesting, right? I think Oregon closed minus 21, minus 121.5. But you can see here, right, USC is the favored team. So it's the same thing here, right? Like, Savage, he's favored to go under 6.5 tackles plus assists. So this is a play, winning above 54.25% of the time. So it's profitable in a PrizePicks play. So it's like, okay, that's perfect. And then we can just see, kind of what else is out there. So there have been some good headshot bets recently. Not something I thought I'd say. So like here's a play, for example, though I'll skip over. Is like, here we have this big discrepancy between PrizePicks and Underdog, 22 on Underdog. If we check out his line on PrizePicks, it's 20. So like obviously this is a huge discrepancy, but if we're going to bet this, what I'd want to do is middle bet this. Take the over 20, the under 22. We win. If he has exactly, 21 headshots, we're going to win both plays. If he has 20 or 22, we'll push one, we'll win one. But again, you don't have other data points really to compare to. And again, I obviously follow a very data-driven approach to my bets. Same thing here, right? Like we have an aces play. I mean, it's crazy, right? This is a great middle betting opportunity. Again, like PrizePicks, I've made too much money. You'll see, like, they just don't let me bet a lot. Like if I try to bet $100 on this, maximum daily amount is $2,000. I don't even know what that means, but they just don't let me bet a lot, period, on PrizePicks. But this would be a pretty good play in tennis. And again, there can be value in any sport, right? PrizePicks has a line at 4.5. It's like, okay, like Underdog Fantasy has a line at 5.5. Hit the over here, hit the under here. If she has exactly 5 aces, you're going to win both bets. And again, like you have to remember, she's not going to end up with 100 aces, right? She's not going to end up most likely with 0 aces. So like the probability of her having exactly 5 aces, which is what like, her average is more likely than her having 0 aces or 20 aces. So like the probability of her having 5 aces in this middle betting, this middle bet hitting between PrizePicks and Underdog Fantasy is pretty good. But again, I just have low betting limits on PrizePicks, so I'm not even going to deal with it. So let's skip over that. And we can refresh as well. I mean, sometimes good plays pop up at random times. So it's crazy, right? Like we have some random soccer bet. We have some NFL bet. And then it's kind of up to us. Like, okay, like what else do we want to go with? So here we can look at CSGO again. Here's a play where we have, kind of more data points. So if we go to player kills and we look at Prism, nope, Prism. So let's take a look here. You can see here it's like PrizePicks has his line at 36, Underdog Fantasy 37.5, JockMKT 38, ParlayPlay 36.5. So this play seems pretty solid. So we can take this and we can take the over 36. And then it's like, okay, we have 4 picks, but ideally we want to find 5, right? 5 pick entries are what's optimal on PrizePicks if you kind of go through the payouts. So for 4 pick entries, you have to win 56% of your player props to break even, whereas for 5 pick entries, it's 54.25%. So we can go back here. And let's just take a look. And then we can also see how our McCowan play is doing. So she's still at 6 points. So we kind of need her to have a strong second half. But anyways, what else are we feeling? And then we'll go over to Underdog Fantasy and we'll kind of do the promo entry. What are we feeling? So we can look up maybe a couple of these plays. We can see if there's anything, that kind of stands out to us. 35.5. Sometimes it's a final play that's the hardest. So whatever. We can go with this play. I mean, it seems a little decent. Again, you really, even if, you only find 4 picks you're in love with, just because 5 pick entries have a much better payout structure, have a much more optimal payout structure, you should try to find a 5th pick that you can go with, right? So we'll go with here, George, over 32.5 kills, right? Where does Underdog Fantasy have this line? Like just finding value in the market. They have the line at 34.5, seems good enough. So you can see here, they're going to tell me, hey, your maximum bet size is $25. I swear to God, PrizePicks will do anything to stop me from betting. Well, hey, they took this bet. So here we go. We have an NFL pick. We have 3 esports picks. And we can also check out, are there any, touchdown lines up? But here's the first pick we can go with. 3 esports picks. We got a soccer pick, right? Underdog Fantasy has a line at 3. for this Cunningham guy, or whatever his name was. But anyways, you get the point. Like, OddsJam's not doing anything complicated. It's really just trying to scan through this market, point out value, that type of stuff. But we can go to the NFL, and one thing I do like to look at is these rush it. Obviously, Jalen Hurts screwed us out of a couple plays last week, but you can see Jalen Hurts, his line is up. We also have we can see have other books dropped lines for Sunday. Doesn't look like books have really in general dropped lines in general for the Sunday games, only Thursday Night Football for anytime touchdown scores. But it's pretty simple, right? Like, it's the same concept here. Justin Jefferson, according to the market, and again, like, there's obviously going to be games where Justin Jefferson scores a touchdown. But according to the market, he is more likely, all the sports books have him favored to go under, right? To not score a touchdown. So if you're going to take Jefferson's over or under, you have all these data points, all these sophisticated books that are telling you, yo, this guy's more likely to go under as opposed to over. So you should probably take his under in your entry. And again, I'm not sure why there's not lines up yet on Tyreek. But you can kind of look through Josh Jacobs. So damn, Josh Jacobs is heavily favored to go under, right? Which you can see right here. Fliff has him minus 145. Hot Streak minus 135. All these books have his under heavily favored. So that's the side you would want to go with. So we can check out, Tony's line isn't up yet. What about Jalen? Jalen Hurts' line isn't up yet. Kelsey's usually favored to score a touchdown. I mean, now with all the Taylor Swift bullshit, he's probably still favored. But Kenneth Walker, his line isn't up yet. But, not a ton of books have these two-way markets on these player props. But if you wanted a different play to go with, long story short, what we could do is we could build like another cute little slit. Is we could go here to soccer. And again, it looks like the most random bet of all time. This play on Syzygen is probably the best play we had in our previous slip. And again, sometimes there's more value on PrizePicks. Obviously, they haven't dropped a ton of lines, for NFL this Sunday. And neither have other sports books. So we're kind of working with what we got going on. So what we can do is we can always just like take our, 3 favorite picks. Our 4 favorite picks and pair it with Josh Jacobs. And again, like, the strategy is pretty simple. I obviously follow a very data-driven approach to my bets. Is, Prism's line 36 on PrizePicks, 37.5 on other books. But it's like, again, like, if Josh Jacobs is heavily favored to go under, to not score a touchdown, and you're getting the same payout regardless of if you take him to go over or under. So let's put Josh Jacobs back in. I apologize. Right, if we're getting the same payout, if we take him over or under, and he's a lot more likely to go under according to the sports books, we're just using that information kind of to our advantage. Maximum daily amount is $2,000. I don't even know what that shit means. Maximum daily amount is $2,000. So again, betting limits for me on PrizePicks will reset in approximately, 39 minutes. I don't know what they're doing. So what we can do is we can always cancel this entry. Again, I'm just doing this. You can leave the other entry open if you want to. They're just, they're only going to let me bet. I don't even know what it means. I think it means max winnings of $2,000. So we got some plays on PrizePicks. We can go over to ParlayPlay next. And this play is crazy, right? So if you use FanDuel, I mean, this is a crazy play. So Thrash's line is 6, as you can see right here. His line is 6 on Underdog Fantasy. If you check out FanDuel, right? So there's a huge discrepancy, which is exactly what we want to see, as a sports bettor. So if we look at North Carolina State, so NC State, and we take a look at player receptions. So receiving props is, you can see right here, right? FanDuel has his line at 4.5. Underdog Fantasy has his line at 6. Granted, FanDuel has the over favored, but I mean still, right? That's crazy. So what you could do is you could middle bet this, right? Take the over 4.5 and the under 6, right? If Thrash has 5 receptions, which again is what his line is centered around, you're going to win your over, you're going to win your under. If he has 6 receptions, you'll win on FanDuel, you'll push on Underdog Fantasy. So middle betting, which OddsJam has a tool for, is it's kind of interesting, right? You're rooting for this like kind of rare sweat. So we can also pull up, are there any plays we can see right here? So if we look at him here, it's like, the market's kind of divided on him. However, we can go to Clax over 4. So this play seems clear as day. Other books have his line at 4.5. And again, we want to go with this, where's this promo? So George Pickens, do we want to take him over or under? So what I typically do for that, and again, I know some people are going to be like, it's insane, all you talk about is data. But, I tried, so you can see here, right, like all the books have his receiving yards line at 57.5. There's no discrepancies in the market. It's kind of up to you if you want to take his over or his under. I'll take his under because whatever. And all we have to do is submit an entry for a chance to win $100K. So obviously, screw all these people. Who knows if any of them are real people, $10,000. So we can see the rules, and you can see there's nothing about, there's nothing about minimum entry or a certain amount of money you have to bet or anything like that. So, whoa, that's not what I meant to do. So what we can do is we can go here. And I know some people can't bet on college football in their location, depending on where you're located. But you can see there's a lot of bets. Damn, there's actually a lot of line discrepancies, mainly CSGO on Underdog Fantasy right now. Right, so like check out this play, right? Like Crimbo over 37.5 is what OddsJam is recommending. So it's kind of like, okay, like, what the fuck? What's the deal? What's the deal? Where's the data telling us to go? So you take a look here and it's like, damn, like, Underdog has line at 37.5. You have you have 4 other sports books. PrizePicks is $1 billion company, sophisticated model. They're moving around lines, due to where action's coming in. They got the line at 39.5. And again, OddsJam is just helping direct you to where the value is. There's Crimbo, right? Like most plays aren't good bets, which you'll notice. But, like Underdog Fantasy has tens of thousands of lines available. Most of these bets suck. You're really trying to zone in on, whatever. Like, what are those few spots where I can actually get an edge? So I guess you have to bet this for $20, so I'll just bet this for $20. And this is my like 100K entry, whatever. 3 plays with value. Anyways, I got to get my DoorDash, but I will be back on live in approximately 30 minutes after I finish my Chick-fil-A. So, didn't hit any crazy plays. We have this on PrizePicks. We have this on Underdog Fantasy. We hit some plays on Fliff as well. A couple different bets on Fliff. Taking advantage of the profitable promo, stuff like that. As always, if I didn't get to your questions or anything like that, you can feel free to hit me up. But I'll be back on live in literally 30 minutes. Gonna eat my Chick-fil-A. So yeah, thanks everyone who tuned in, and hopefully